Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Saturday, October 14th. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, as we take a look at the Grade 1 Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup, part of really good late pick 4, big fields. Let's start with the QE2, Jim, for 3-year-old fillies. A mile and an eighth is always an interesting element here. Some of them aren't as good at 9 furlongs as they are at a little shorter distances. I did see Wahida is out. I saw that on Twitter Friday morning. So Wahida is out of the race, who was one of the major players, I thought. So where did you land?
That just makes my pick 4 ticket a little bit cheaper because I certainly was going to use her. Really good form from France. Almost won a Group 1 over there. With her out, I'm gonna go with a horse here that is stepping up in class. But been watching this filly for a year and a half and just seen steady progression, and she always seems to run well when she needs to. I'm going to take an upset in here for Proctor's Ledge. 2 great efforts at Saratoga last 2 times out, with an easy win the first time, and then in Lake Placid she beat Uni, who's back in this field, and she ran behind Lon Coronel and Dream Dancing earlier in the year, but seems like she's gotten better, and Brendan Walsh has this filly really on top of her game right now. So it would be an upset, but I think Proctor's Ledge has a real shot in here. Also going to use Daddy's Little Darling, one of my favorite fillies at Keeneland. Seems like she comes up short a lot, but she put it all together in the Kentucky Downs race last time out and won by 4 down there at mile and 16th, and mile and 8th ought to be good for her. She's kind of been she hasn't run the distance on the turf, but she's running on the dirt. So Dream Dancing, coming off a win to the Del Mar Oaks, they shipped her out to West Coast and took the money and coming back now. So I think Le Peru and Cassie are doing well this meet. La Cornell, you have to put her in there simply because of back class and 2 for 2 here at Keeneland. Giroux's riding elsewhere today, and Lescano takes them out. And then the last horse I would probably use is I'd probably use Union New Money Honey, simply because New Money Honey won the Belmont Oaks earlier in the summer and also was Grade 1 winner in the Juvenile Turf last year. So she hasn't stepped up her buyer figures, but she's a classy filly and she's right there as well. So hard to not go deep in this race. I'm going to take Proctor's Ledge, though, too, and a little bit of an upset.
I went to La Coronel, and I was really scared of Wahida, so the fact that she's out takes out the one I thought was probably on paper the most likely winner out of all of those Group 1s. So I'm going to La Coronel, who you might get a little bit of a price for because her last couple have not been up to where she was previously, but she looks like she's training well. And the main thing about her for me is that she just absolutely seems to love Keeneland and this turf course, and she has been at her best in 2 races here. So I'm going for her just because of that affinity for this course. But her stablemate, I think, is a really dangerous off that big improvement. She jumped up about 10 buyer points in that win last time at Del Mar. I think Unforgettable Filly coming in from Europe, getting Lasix is certainly one to consider. Proctor's Ledge, Daddy's Little Darling. I would throw in New Money Honey. I think is dangerous because it looked like she maybe wasn't in her best form when she ran here in the spring. Looked like she got to the top of her game in the summer, and then the only thing she's done since then is to try the dirt in the Alabama, and you can just draw a line through that. So if she does improve off that form in the summer, let's say she jumps up 8 to 10 buyer points, then she's right in the mix, and I certainly could see that happening for Chad Brown, his stablemate. You can go, just about all of these are worth considering. Conte Patiro comes off a nice performance at Del Mar at a huge price in here. But La Coronel is going to be my pick, and then I will, rank these in order of preference, and you can use as many as you want in exactas with La Coronel. Dream Dancing, New Money Honey, Unforgettable Filly, Proctor's Ledge, Daddy's Little Darling, Uni, and the rest. And definitely going to spread in the pick 4, which we'll get to now. It starts in the 7th race with a non-winners of 3 allowance race. And Aeroforce was the first one that drew my attention. The Cassie barn's been hot, but Le Peru doesn't ride this horse. He goes to the Australian import for Brian Lynch, and Le Peru's one of Lynch's go-to riders, so that one got on my radar. Parlor I've always liked, and then Revved Up I thought ran a 97 Beyer 2 back that would be awfully good here, and that horse has run well here. So I'm going to use all four of those. I just couldn't. Revved Up is the one I ended up picking for a win, but basically it's those four for me, 2, 7, 9, 11 in this race. In the 8th, I went to Too Much Tip, big class drop for Wesley Ward and a strong local work. Mini Blip has definitely got to be used, but she's also looks like, according to the Keeneland barn notes, she's going to get in the Raven Run next week. So I assume she's going to stay there. I'll include her on my pick 4 ticket, but I think she'll probably will not run in this spot, and if not, that'll make the ticket a lot cheaper. So Too Much Tip is going to be my win pick in there, and then I'm going to use Mini Blip also, and then in the QE2, I'm going to go 6 deep. And then in the last race, C-Dub, the 6, well bet in the debut and working great off a layoff, so I want that one. Powerful Ally, cutting back from longer and getting Le Peru, I want that one. So take those 2, and then B Jersey I'm going to throw in for a third one. So I've got 4 in the first leg, then Too Much Tip and Mini Blip, so 9 and 14 in the second leg. I'm using 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 in the QE2, and then 5, 6, 8 in the last leg, with 6 being the win pick. How about you?
Heavy at the top and light at the end. So I'm going to take 4 horses in the allowance race. It's a nice allowance race, by the way. It's almost a ungraded stakes level. So
you're right.
I'm going to use Aeroforce, the horse that you mentioned for Cassie. The horse that you didn't mention was Bondra for Ian Wilkes. I think you might have overlooked that one. Cause
I had it next on my list. I just tried to keep the ticket more manageable.
Ran out of money.
Yeah.
Lost to Hoagie and Kasaki and Chocolate Ride and Disco Partner last 4. There's no horses like that in this race. So I think Bondra really fits well on class. So I'm going to use him in here too. I'm going to use the 7 Revved Up. I love that 97 Beyer 2 back. And the 9 Parlor that you mentioned, Beyers are a little bit light, but they're really high on this horse. Eddie Kennelly thinks this horse can run big time. So I'm going to use Parlor in here, 2, 4, 7, 9 in the first leg. Second leg, optional claiming, I'm going to use 1, 3, 6, 8. Cara Blythe, Mythical Tale. The 6 horse is Laura B. And the 8, China Grove, who's my top pick, just off back class. You make a good case on Too Much Tip. I might throw that horse in there as well. I'm assuming, as you do, that Mini Blip probably won't get in here and will run later. And then in the in the QE2, as much as you can afford, because I'm breaking one of my rules here. I'm going to use about half of them, and usually when I do that, I go all. But I'm going to limit it to Proctor's Ledge, the 2, Daddy's Little Darling, the 3, Dream Dancing, the 4, La Cornell, the 6, Uni, the 10, and New Money Honey, the 11. I had Wahida in there, so that did cut it back a little bit. And then I am going to single the last leg with a horse that you mentioned, Powerful Ally. I think that this horse is going to be, even money in here, but I'm going to finish up my pick 4, singling Ron Moquette's horse with Le Peru, because I think just the back numbers fit well and is due to win. The other horse that I liked in here a little bit was the 1, Such a Tease, only 3 races and got a lot better last time out at Churchill at 7 furlongs, which is a tricky distance. So pick 4 is 2, 4, 7, 9 with 1, 3, 6, 8 with 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 11 with 8. So that's 4 by 4 by 6 by 1, which is $48.
There's a $350,000 guarantee on this late pick 4 for Saturday, and it is really challenging. I think even without the guarantee, it's going to pay you really well. So you should get well rewarded if you can hit it, and it's going to be a challenge to do that. So best of luck with your Saturday wagers. We'll be back for our Sunday edition of the In the Money podcast at KeenelandSelect.com.